Number 10. Japanese ghost ships. 24 ships sank during the Battle of Iwo Jima, one of the deadliest conflicts in the U.S. Marines' history and one of World War II's most dramatic battles. After multiple earthquakes near one of Japan's most deadly volcanoes, Mount Suribachi, the ships have risen from the ocean's bottom. 24 Japanese cargo ships that were seized by the United States Navy during the final stages of the war were captured via satellite images from Japan's All Nippon News. Thanks to Mount Suribachi's seismic activity, the seafloor has begun to rise. Since the island at the time lacked the necessary facilities, the boats were transported to the western section of Iwo Jima to create a port. The sunken ships are now resting on top of volcanic ash after the eruption. To safeguard other ships that were unloading troops and materials, they were repurposed as a barrier. On invasion maps, the island was called Brown Beach. It's believed that this was done to establish a false naval base for supporting a U.S. military base before the invasion of mainland Japan. While the Japanese military has retained control of the island since 1968, there are no people currently living on Iwo Jima. It is clear from the surrounding areas that the sea's discoloration has expanded and that the volcanic activity is still strong, according to Setsuya Nakada, director of the government's Volcano Research Promotion Center. Let's be honest, who would want to live near an active volcano? Number 9. Ancient city in India. Off the shore of a historic pilgrimage destination, a tsunami revealed what looked like an ancient city and portions of a temple, which archaeologists excavated underwater. In Mahabalipuram, a seaside town that was severely damaged by a tsunami on December 26, 2004, 3 stone structures with intricate animal sculptures have been uncovered. Sand layers that buried the buildings, which seemed to be from the 7th century, were dislodged by the power of the falling waves. Thousands of Hindu pilgrims visit Mahabalipuram every year to see its beautifully carved shore temples, which have already earned the city international recognition as a World Heritage Site. 7 pagodas were located as well, 6 of which were drowned by the sea, according to reports by old British travel writers. A reclining lion is even carved on another building that the tsunami revealed. Also, an elephant and a horse in flight are some of the 6-foot-tall granite masterpieces. A godlike figure is even carved into a little square nook over the elephant's head. Throughout the 7th and 8th centuries during the Pallava period, lions, elephants, and peacocks were often used to embellish buildings and temples, according to archaeologists. This explains the intricate carvings. Number 8. A World War II bomb. The record-breaking temperatures and burnt fields caused by 2022's heat waves in Europe were followed by the discovery of a World War II bomb that was hidden by the drought-stricken River Po in Italy. The 1,000-pound bomb was found on July 25, 2022 near the northern town of Borgo Vergilio and was defused and put under controlled detonation 1 weekend later by military experts. According to the Army, about 3,000 nearby residents had to leave their homes in order to prepare for the disposal of the bomb. The U.S.-made weapon, which the Army claimed had 530 pounds of explosives, had its fuse removed by bomb disposal experts. The device was then transported by the bomb squad and detonated in a quarry in the neighboring municipality of Medole, about 30 miles away, through the help of the police. The Po, which is the longest river in Italy, was under a state of emergency at the time during the worst drought in 70 years. Number 7. A 1960s plane crash. Authorities discovered what they thought was the wreckage of a 1960s plane accident when a severe drought in California dried up lakes around the state. A decades-old mystery may have been solved thanks to the June 2021 discovery. The aircraft resembles the Piper Comanche 250, which disappeared over 50 years ago on January 1, 1965. The plane wasn't damaged at all and was spotted in a deep spot by a company testing equipment for underwater surveys in Folsom Lake, close to Sacramento. All 4 passengers, along with the pilot, died in the accident. Despite ongoing search attempts up until 2014, only the pilot's body was located. The 3 passengers' remains were never found. First detected on sonar equipment, the plane was discovered by the survey company Seafloor Systems. They captured detailed pictures of the aircraft's tail and propeller thanks to the lake's record low water level. According to CBS Sacramento, Frank Wilcox, whose brother was on the plane decades ago, searched for the aircraft and his brother's remains up until his death just 2 years ago. The discovery of the plane can now bring some peace to the grieving relatives of those killed. Number 6. An ancient temple. A buried temple that had been hidden inside a pyramid was discovered by archaeologists after an earthquake in Mexico. After an 8.1 magnitude earthquake slammed central Mexico, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake shook the region again on September 19, 2017. A pyramid at the Teopanzolco archaeological site about 43 miles south of Mexico City was damaged by the earthquake and killed over 200 people. An even more ancient temple was located inside the 13th century pyramid when researchers at the site used radar to assess the damage. The once hidden ruin is likely to be over 800 years old. An incense burner and pottery shards were also found inside the temple, which was about 20 feet long by 13 feet wide. According to researchers with Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, the site was presumably built in 1150 by Aztecs of Toluca culture. 2 known temples in the pyramid were affected by the earthquake's partial collapse. One was devoted to the Aztec rain deity Tlaloc, and the other was for the god of war Huitzilopochtli. The stability of Tlaloc and Huitzilopochtli temples was put in jeopardy when the earthquake caused the floor between them to bend and ultimately sink. The secret temple was located around 6.5 feet below the Earth's surface. It was very similar to the other temples in the pyramid. Like the others, it had stucco walls, a bench, facade built from long stones, and the remains of a pillar that once supported the temple's roof. The Teopanzolco site is crucial for remembering the history of ancient cultures in Mexico, since the secret temple is the earliest structure in the entire pyramid. Number 5. An Iron Age skeleton. Archaeologists believe that 2,000-year-old human remains were discovered after a series of storms struck Scotland's Shetland Islands during the 2012 holiday season. The ancient skeleton seemed comparable with nearby Iron Age sites, according to local archaeologist Chris Dyer. Evidence of 1 or maybe 2 more burials was seen at the location, but the finding was covered up after another storm forced part of a cliff to collapse. In addition to the Iron Age ruins being hidden, the initial grave is now covered by tons of debris. Human history is often found in nature. In the distant depths of a limestone cave system that has degraded through time, for instance, the bones of 2 humanoids, a young male and an adult female, who lived over 2 million years ago, were located. The Canadian high Arctic mountains also reveal a wealth of old hunting gear as sections of ice that had been there for thousands of years had began thawing out. Officials stated that a small fragment of bone was discovered and will be tested using radiocarbon dating to determine the skeleton's approximate age, but they don't plan to do any more excavation work at the site in light of this discovery. Number 4. Prehistoric Forest. The violent storms that swept thousands of tons of sand off beaches in Cardigan Bay revealed a prehistoric forest, an unsettling scene that features the stumps of hundreds of oak trees that died over 4,500 years ago. Before getting submerged under layers of sand and salt water thanks to climate change and rising sea levels, the Forest of Borth originally covered vast areas of swampy terrain in Wales. According to locals, Cantrair Gwaelod, a now vanished kingdom, perished beneath the seas as a result of the skeleton trees. When the water level increased 4,500 and 6,000 years ago, the trees stopped growing altogether. A sizable portion of the missing woodland was seen again in 2014. Archaeologists also discovered a nearby timber boardwalk at the beginning of that year, which was made visible by the storms. It was built when the local population learned to adapt to life in an increasingly wet environment, and its age is estimated to be between 3,100 and 4,000 years old. Footprints of people and animals, as well as charred stones from old hearths, were found in 2012 in the peat's solidified top layer. The stunning prehistoric terrain was recently exposed, demonstrating how the coast is constantly stripped naked by storms and flood tides. A $14.1 million coastal defense system was launched in 2012 to safeguard the site. Number 3. Book of Esther Scrolls. An ancient book of Esther scroll was discovered by a group of Zaka, volunteer emergency response teams after they combed through the wreckage of Antakya, Turkey, after a recent tragic earthquake. This discovery was more than the volunteers ever thought they would find. The books, which are from the third section of the Hebrew Bible, have special significance to the Jewish community. Major Chaim Otmatzkin, leader of the Zaka search and rescue team, was contacted by the man who found the scrolls with a unique request. Because of their close proximity to Syria and the terrible death of their community's last leader, he expressed his concern for the scrolls ending up in the wrong hands. He requested that they be protected and that their community be remembered. Major Otzmagan was touched by the man's desperate plea, and he agreed to protect the scrolls. The Zaka volunteer said, "I'm truly honored to save such a significant historical document and to make sure that the heritage of Antakya's Jewish community remains intact even after the quake reduced it to nearly nothing." On February 15, 2023, after working tirelessly for days to save lives under difficult circumstances, the Israeli expedition successfully went home. The chairman of Antakya's Jewish community, Saul Senudioglu, and his wife, Fortuna, were among the many bodies that the Israeli rescuers found after the earthquake, in addition to over 24 survivors who were pulled from the wreckage by the rescuers. Number 2. Native American Artifacts. In September 2017, Hurricane Irma toppled down trees on a Native American preserve on Marco Island in South Florida, leading to the discovery of hundreds of ancient artifacts. The Calusa tribe, which no longer exists, inhabited the island between 700 and 1200 AD. They previously owned the objects. Although public property cannot be dug up without the consent of government officials, archaeologists have theorized for a while that the region contained a treasure trove of relics. The researchers have since taken 200 artifacts from the preserve, including tools, glass, ceramics, and shells, after they were naturally uncovered. The Marco Island Historical Museum eagerly accepted the new discoveries. There, they were examined and put on display, or in some cases, sent to other museums around the country. The dig has sparked a debate over how Native American artifacts have been handled in modern times, and some tribe leaders have expressed their displeasure. In the neighboring Everglades, Betty Osceola of the Miccosukee tribe is worried that disturbing anything from their natural resting place could be upsetting to the spirits of deceased tribe members. But researchers say that they are being as respectful as humanly possible and aren't being intrusive at all. They also claim that there is so much that can be learned from the artifacts that it outweighs the cons. The Marco Island History Museum's curator made the point that keeping the items may help teach crucial lessons about the Calusa way of life, including how to live sustainably on land. Number 1. A wooden shipwreck. An antique sailing ship's wreckage was spotted on a beach in Alabama after Hurricane Isaac, raising concerns about the ship's origin and the day it sank. Normally, sand covers the debris, but sometimes beach erosion brought on by strong storms reveals portions of the ship's hull. The wreckage was originally made public in 1969 after Hurricane Camille, then again in 2004 following Hurricane Ivan, and a third time in 2008 thanks to Hurricane Ike. Isaac uncovered more of the ship than ever before, drawing large crowds of people to the coast to see the historical wonder. According to local historians, there is no mystery surrounding the ship's history. The vessel is the Rachel, a schooner built in Pascagoula, Mississippi during World War I. The ship met a devastating storm in 1923 when sailing for the first time with limited supplies and an 8-person crew. She ran aground and was wrecked despite the crew's efforts to salvage her and lower an anchor. The boat was burned after salvaging the little cargo on board. The Rachel was built to be a timber schooner, but capsized during the Prohibition era when alcohol was banned. She was allegedly carrying illegal alcohol, according to several rumors. This has not been verified, and no one could know what goods she was actually transporting. So the mystery of what she was carrying remains. Thanks for watching. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster? Tell us about it in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.